So today is my 44th birthday, which makes 6 birthdays without my mother with me on this planet. And that feels very strange. The passing of time, I think, after an important loved one's death is very strange. And I think you start to mark time going back to the point of that person's death. But since that time, 6 years ago, I've learned so much about grief and what it takes to deal with feelings, still living with grief, because it's something that never goes away. And then also watching my children sort of go through that experience with me and watching me go through it and sort of helping me go through it as well. I think what I learned most is that children actually know how to grieve better than any adult I've ever met. And I think it's because I don't know why it is exactly, but what I would watch my kids do, who were 6 and 4 at the time, is they don't know how to hide their emotions. They were very close to my mom, just like I was. And so they would break down very randomly when they would have sad feelings or bad days. And that was so important. They would sort of unscrew the bottle of grief that they had and they would let some out. And then they could, felt a little bit better and they could move on. We could talk about it and go through some memories and discuss her and, move on until the next opening of that bottle to release the next bit that needed to be released. And watching them do that, and they still actually do that now that I think about it, at age 12 and 9, they still sort of randomly just break down and say, I miss Grammy. And I do that, of course, as well, but it's more in private. I might reach out to a friend that's gone through a similar thing because I know that they understand. But grief can be isolating unless you let other people in, which can be hard to do. I found it was easiest to connect to my children through that time period, and still probably when thinking about my mom and feeling sad, because they just seem to get it. And I think as we age a little bit, we tend to bottle up more, hide our feelings. And as much as everybody's going to experience death with a close family member, friend, etc., it's still one of the things that we're sort of the worst at dealing with. And I think it's because everybody, based on their own life experiences, they show up to the table with just different skills and ways to cope. And it's just so fascinating. So always look to the kids. They are doing grief right. And as hard as it is, I would be honest with them and keep them involved every step of the way, and take your cues from them. It can only help.